October 21st, 2022. Friday of the 29th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians. Brothers and sisters, I, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to live in a manner worthy of the call you have received, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another through love, striving to preserve the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. One body and one Spirit, as you are also called to the one hope of your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. The Word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. The Lord's are the earth and its fullness, the world and those who dwell in it. For he founded it upon the seas and established it upon the rivers. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. Who can ascend the mountain of the Lord, or who may stand in his holy place? He whose hands are sinless, whose heart is clean, who desires not what is vain. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. He shall receive a blessing from the Lord, a reward from God his Savior. Such is the race that seeks for him, that seeks the face of the God of Jacob. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to the crowds, "When you see a cloud rising in the west, you say immediately that it is going to rain, and so it does. And when you notice that the wind is blowing from the south, you say that it is going to be hot, and so it is. You hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. Why do you not know how to interpret the present time? Why do you not judge for yourselves what is right? If you are to go with your opponent before a magistrate, make an effort to settle the matter on the way. Otherwise, your opponent will turn you over to the judge, and the judge hand you over to the constable, and the constable throw you into prison. I say to you, you will not be released until you have paid the last penny." The Gospel of the Lord.
As opposed to other occasions when the ones being called hypocrites by Jesus are the scribes and Pharisees, this time they're the crowds. So if we want to identify with anyone there and enter the scene, we have to accept that Jesus is then calling us hypocrites. So why is he calling us hypocrites? He says, "You know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. Why do you not know how to interpret the present time?" We might think that he was only referring to that particular time in history when he was fulfilling the prophecies and working miracles. But we might also interpret it as referring to our present time and the time of our salvation, the fullness of time when the Son of God comes to save us. He is the main sign of that time. He is the sign of the time of our lives, the time of our salvation, and the time of our constant judgment. We should judge ourselves by our actions according to his words. So, if we interpret the present time without hypocrisy, we have to make constant and frequent examinations of conscience so that we can settle the matter on the way, instead of waiting until the moment of our death or our final judgment. And then ask for forgiveness, following the advice of St. Paul in the first reading, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another through love. And then, after assuming that attitude of humility, we can approach the Lord, the sign of the time of our lives, and ask for forgiveness. And we know that the most practical way of doing that is approaching frequently the sacrament of reconciliation. Therefore, I believe that the gospel today is an invitation from the Lord to approach that sacrament more frequently, to ask for forgiveness, so that we can bring to fulfillment what we hear today in the responsorial psalm. Who can ascend the mountain of the Lord? Or who may stand in his holy place? He whose hands are sinless, whose heart is clean, who desires not what is vain, he shall receive the blessing from the Lord, a reward from God his Savior. And the reward is eternal happiness, the blessing that comes with the salvation given by Jesus.